Hello and welcome to episode 12 of our RPG tutorials. Today we're going to go over getting stairs working. We're going to get paths displaying so that we can do some testing. We can kind of see what's being generated that way. Can't really see your path until you find a way to get it to work. And then we got bug fixes from the last episode that we're going to get to, and we're actually going to do these in reverse order, as you can see here. So first we're going to start with the bug fixes, then we'll be doing the displaying the path, and then we're going to import the files for start and end, which the stairs are the end, and we'll have like a flag for the start. And then we'll get the stairs working, and then we'll test it. So that's where we're going to start. If you are enjoying this series, please take a second, hit that like button, subscribe, throw a comment down. It really does help. We'll get going. In level, we have a few things we got to fix, and I mentioned them in the comments of the last video because I found them while I was doing the prompt for this video. So first things first, can add equals true. Is something, this will stop it and give you an infinite loop if you don't have this. So that's kind of important. If you have a collision, it hits false and then it just runs forever. So whoops, fix that, no big deal on that one. The next bit that you're gonna see is up in here. Yes, pretty sure it's in here. It is that we were doing our locations in pixels instead of in locations. So instead of grid locations, and so that is a mistake, clearly. And it's a very easy fix. So we're in pixels here. How do we get from pixels to locations? We just simply have to ask the grid. But first, what we're going to do, I got a new keyboard, so bear with me. On my typing, it'll be specifically bad, even though I know my typing is not great to begin with. So we're going to have vector2, and it's going to be chords equals new vector2. We're also going to make another change here later, but we'll do that later. We'll do everything in line. All right, so chords equals grid is this equals this guy here, and then semicolon, and then we're going to loop through them, and we're going to have to change them all to grid locations because that's a list of pixel locations. We'll have to swap that out. So if for int j equals 0, j less than chords dot count j plus plus. We don't need add range anymore. It'll just be add, and then in here we have grid dot get slot from pixel chords j, and then vector2.0 because we're not dealing with any offsetting. So what this is doing, just so that we're clear, and I'll go over it, our A star returns pixel locations, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that, but it does because in a lot of games you're going to want that. I mean, anything that's not inherently grid based, you're going to want that. And then we just need to convert those grid locations into pixels, or those pixels into grid locations, and that's what we do right here. So that will solve the problem that we had there. I don't even think we need to add start and end locations. We'll double check that. We'll get there. But that will solve a lot of the issues, those two issues. Pretty sure there was another one, but I can't remember it, and then we'll come across it as we're going. But That leaves us on grid generation, and then the grid generation itself is not grid generation. The path generation on the grid is essentially going to be a list of locations passed into the square grid, and then we will set them to a specific color. And to do that, first we're going to need to keep our path. Right now our path is here, right? We declare it here, but that means it's going to go away. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to take this, really this whole thing, and what we'll do is remove the declaration of it, and we will place it up at the top. We'll do timers last, and then and then we'll make it public. Just cause. Okay, so that now we'll have our restricted path available to us. And then what we'll do is when we press the P button for path. So how do we denote that? We say if globals dot keyboard dot get single press, and then P. So if we push P, we'll need a bool saying show path. That's what we'll need. So public bool show path equals false, because we wanted to start out as false, and then we'll toggle it. So then show path equals not show path. That's a toggle. I've been over that before in my tutorials, but basically if it's not true, it's false. If it's not false, it's true. So it swaps back and forth. It's just a one-line toggle for those that haven't seen it before. And then we're going to say if show path, then we do one thing, else we do the other. Here we don't yet have the function, which will be to set location colors, and we also don't have the color in grid location. So to go about that, we need to go to square grid, or yes, square grid will get us there. Of course not. We'll find it. Square grid. Go to definition, pin it so I don't lose it, and then that's full of grid locations. Go to definition. What we're going to need is to be able to color it. So public color, draw color. Could just call it color, but we're gonna go draw color here. And then in here we're gonna say draw color equals color dot white, and we are going to throw that in the other constructor as well. Even though this is, I'm pretty sure, the one we're going to use, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have that, and then in square grid we need a function, as mentioned before, called set location colors. So set location colors, public virtual void set location colors. And that's going to take a list of locations and a color. So a list of I'm pretty sure it's vector 2, and that is going to be, hold on, let me just make sure I get this part right. So it's all named the same so I don't mess up on my stuff later on. So it's just lokes and color. Okay. In here we go through every location. So for int I equals 0, I less than lokes dot count I plus plus. If the location and the slot are the same, then sorry, that's not right. If the location is between 0 and the most on X and 0 on the most in Y, so it's within our grid, then we set that grid location to the color. That's the answer. Okay, so how do we denote that? We say if lokes dot X lokes I dot X is greater than or equal to 0, and lokes I dot X is less than slots dot count, and then and lokes. We're just going to copy this real fast, paste it, because it's just easier that way. And then we're going to say Y. And this is Y. But this is 0. So one thing this is assuming is that you have at least one in your Y location. If you don't, if it's a completely null grid, we probably should test for that. So let's just say if, just so we don't crash our program, right? So if slots dot count, well, if slots not equal null and slots dot count greater than 0 and slots dot 0 dot count greater than 0. Okay, that's not protected. So if it's not null and you have at least one in both locations or both axes, then you're good. Okay, what are we doing here? So we're saying we need to set that draw color. So what is our draw? Well, it is slots square dot draw color equals new color dot R color dot G color dot B. Okay, and what are these? Well, these are int. We have to cast it because it's they're standard of float. Loc dot x loc I dot x. I don't know why I keep doing that. But and then we have to cast this one again. So and it's loc I dot y. Okay, so loops are all lokes. Make sure they're within the grid. If they're within the grid, then we set the draw color to the color that we set here. Pretty simple, pretty explanatory. The last thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to account for it in here. So first we're going to do is check and see if it's white. If it's white, we're going to ignore it, and we're going to use this code here. If it's not white, why white? Because white means nothing, right? White means essentially draw it the way it's supposed to look. Oops. There we go. If it's white, we want to do these things. If it's not white, we want to do whatever it is, right? So it is the location itself, and we'll get to that in a second. We'll fill this out in just a second. So we are in a slots and slots, right? J and K are our spots. So here we say slots J and K, and what do we want out of there? We want draw color. There we go. And then in here we want to check to see if this here is white. Now there's a couple ways to do that. We are going to do this the long way, and the reason we're going to do that is because if you wanted to switch this color as default, you could then easily do so using this method. So if R is equal to color dot white dot R, and these G's and then B's, right? So this is the long way to type this. You can do a comparison. Also, this is just how I am going to choose to do it, and I'm ignoring the alpha Because I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this, that I would be upset if I kept setting something to white and the alpha was just off and it wasn't giving me an equals. I think I'd be a little upset. So I think I'm going to leave the alpha off. If you want to put the alpha in, then it's just A's. But that's up to you. I'm not going to go that route. Okay, so if it is white, do what we used to do. If it's colored at all, I want that color showing, right? That's what we're saying for this. And then in our, going back to level, which should totally be pinned. I don't know that we need gameplay pinned. Okay. In level, we come down to update. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through this key press real fast. It's simple stuff. There's nothing crazy about it. But now that we have that function, we can say grid dot set location colors. This is restricted path. And then it's color. And you pick whatever color you want. For me, green, yellow. I like gray and yellow. And then when we push it again and toggle it off, what are we going to do? We're going to set it to white. Why? Because white means go back to doing whatever you used to be doing, right? Now we're going to test that now and see where we're at. And hopefully if there was something else I was supposed to do, I will see it and remember it and fix it. But, all right, here's our thing. I'm going to get into it. Oh, I was supposed to display start and ends. Okay, we're going to push P. That is our path. Clearly, it overlaps itself. It comes over here. It looks like it comes up here. I'm not exactly sure, and it comes over. I bet you the end would have been right there, but we'll see. And we can toggle it on and off. That's what we wanted. Good. We're in a good spot. We need to display our start and ends. Let me pull up those files. So over here in 2D, instead of grid, we're going to go and we're going to add, and we're going to say world instead of grid. And then we're going to drop grid into world. And then inside here, we are going to take stairs and start, which is a flag. Could have been start and finish. That's just what I called it. So content, copy if newer, and then we got to come down again in Android and do the same thing. So world, and the grid goes in there, and then inside there we will drop in start and stairs. And these are Android assets. And copy of newer. And eventually we'll go back and we'll retest Android on this stuff, but right now I'm not super worried about that. I wanted to show how to get it to work, but I can't keep both of them up at the same time in the limited time that we have for these tutorials. Okay, so we have those now. And then our start and end we need to have access to. And if you remember, we made our start accessible, but we didn't make end accessible. So end loc, so this is another little thing, probably is what I was thinking of, was this. Go. Okay, and then we just take the vector2 declaration off, and that will feed our end loc, so that's good. We needed those. We need the display elements, which, where were those? Let's see. Start loc, find all references. They're in level. They're grid. Oh, they're just added as grid items. That makes total sense. If you can't tell, I did this about 4 or 5 days ago. Sorry. Alright, so we added grid locations. I added grid locations, and they're done at the end of the pathing, which makes total sense. So let's come down here to the end of our pathing right here. And we have this whole can add thing. And then right at the end here, we're going to say grid dot add grid item, and then that is going to be, well, I mean, we just copy paste this real fast actually for less typing. And here, instead of grid, we actually have to fix this one as well. This one's going to be world grid because we moved it, and then the same thing here, world grid, and then this will be our start loc, and then instead of hill, we're going to have start. I know I can type start, but I have a habit of copy pasting out of my content just in case something is named or I typo something. Makes it easier. End loc. Okay, so we have a start loc and end loc. They're now displaying, or they better be. And then on top of that, something that we have to fix is that the hero needs to go to the start whenever the map changes. And so to get that to happen, we say if hero not equal null. We have to create a level unit packet to pass in, and you'll see why in a second. Level unit packet equals new level unit packet, and up top you'll be able to see that we're just copying exactly what was there up top, just to get our grid passed in to hero dot set loc, because we want to use these wonderful functions we've created. And then new vector 2, and then that is, we're setting it to start loc. So start loc.x, start loc.y. I'm going to caution here. Sometimes you can pass in the whole vector. This is one of those times where you can't. If you pass in just start loc plainly, you will start moving your start loc around with your character, and you don't want that. So make sure you're creating a new vector here. This is also why I oftentimes am creating new vectors, is so I can just avoid that situation. Okay, so that is that, and the last thing we'll have to do is stairs, but first we're going to test this, because that's the wise thing to do. Get through it. We're on our start loc. These seem to be taken though, which is incorrect, so we'll go through that in a second. That is the other thing, another thing we needed to fix. So P, very nicely done. Looks like we come up here. Maybe then we come down. I'm not really sure here. I'm not actually sure. Maybe up here, down. I don't know how we get back over here to go that way. Anyway, that's our path. You can see that nothing generated in our path, so that's good. That's what we want. One thing, like I said, these are both taken, so that's no good. We don't want that. Those are both locked out from us, and we do not want our start end to be locked out. So in order to fix that, we need to make it so that we can set a location without blocking it off. And so we go here, we go to definition, and if you'll see here, we're setting filled to true, and that's not actually what we want. We normally will want that, but not always. So bool filled. There we go. And then if filled, then we'll do that, right? Very simple. That should stop us from. Ooh, oh, that's right. We're gonna fail because we have to fix those now. And then so for start and end, we're gonna say false. And then for the hills, we're gonna say true. I don't know what else we have left. Oh, the generic, which should be true. That's weird that that's on another line. Let's fix that. True. Okay, that should give us the results we're looking for. So this is untaken, which is good. The stairs are untaken. Looks like we come up here, we go up over here, down, come over here, and go back. That is the path that was selected. Is that the greatest path on the planet? No, but you can see, again, that it's not taken. So we can edit this and make this better later. But you can see that the path is working. We're always having a clear route to our stairs. And then the last thing is going to be getting our stairs to go, which is super simple. If you might think it through for just a second, and if you want to, pause and think about it for a second. But all we have to do is in update of level, after it's done everything it wants to do, all we have to do is say, hey, are you at the end location? If you are, what do we want to do? We want to generate a new level. So if hero not equal null, because that's kind of important. If hero dot current location dot x equal to the end loc dot x, and copy paste for y's, paste for y's. If that all happens, we're going to generate new level. Easy peasy, right? And the other thing I'm going to do for test purposes, I have this set to a second before I can move again, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we are going to drop that to like 200 milliseconds. Just because it takes too long to move right now for my testing purposes. All right, we've got to get up there. First, let's see our path. Verify that. That's interesting. It may have gone through our start, which our end, which is not a problem, but it's not what's expected. And we get a new level. There's our path. That's a bug, by the way. I had to push the path button twice. So when we generate a new path, we need to set our show path to false. So, or we need to display it. Okay, good. I'm gonna have to push it twice again. There we go. So as you can see, we're getting a new level generated every time we hit the stairs, which is the goal. So there we go. Okay, that's as expected. Let's fix that one little bug, and I'm going to fix it here and in my prompt real fast because that's super simple. I don't want to forget it. Generate new level. We're going to say show path equals false. Done. And yeah, that's as simple as it gets. Sorry for the kind of forgetfulness I had here. I did not write out a good list of things that I had to get done, but we got through it all. Bugs should be fixed. You should be able to bug check, or bug search, or see what you're doing with your path essentially, and that way you can improve it. So if you don't like the path that's going out, and I don't love this path, I'll be honest, it's actually kind of bothering me. I want it to be better, but you can see it now, so you can actually make adjustments to it, and you can do so in the debug. You can, without even restarting the game, you should be able to go hit the stairs, and you can debug through how your path is getting generated, and just kind of edit it, and then see if you get what you want, and you just kind of go over and over and over again. And you can spend however much time you need getting that to work, and unless you're adding new classes, you can do that until you have it tweaked where you want it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We will get deeper into this game creation in our next episode, but I wanted you guys to be able to debug. That was the word I was looking for a minute ago. And I wanted you guys to have the stairs working, so also the bug fixes are kind of important. So that's this episode. We'll get deeper in next time. If you guys are reaching this point and you haven't hit that like button already, guys, please take a second and just do it. It takes no time. It won't hurt you. It only helps me. and it's big for me. So like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Show us some love, do some comments, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.